In biblical times, if one was privileged, one purchased a child as a slave. In modern times, if one is privileged, one hires an au pair or nanny. Exodus 21:7. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. Exodus 21:8. If the slave does not please the master, while the slave is down on her hands and knees washing the floor, I'm hoping, then the slave purchaser shall let the slave be redeemed. The slave purchaser shall have no right to sell the slave to a foreign people. Not back to her abusive father, though, since the slave purchaser has broken faith with the slave. Faith in this context means the act of respecting one's fellow human being. Exodus 21:9. If the slave purchaser purchases the slave for his son, the slave purchaser shall deal with the slave as with a daughter slave. I guess a slave only gets down on their hands and knees to wash the floor of the son now. Exodus 21:10. If the slave purchaser takes another slave wife to himself, the slave purchaser shall not diminish the slave's food, clothing, or marital rights. So now the purchased child slave is a slave wife. Exodus 21:11. And if the slave purchaser does not do these three things for the slave shall go out for nothing, without payment of money. Kicked to the curb with nothing except PTSD from being a sex slave, and now seen as less than dirt to the abhorrent community. Disgusting behavior taught, condoned, and regulated by the imaginary character God and the self-reported followers. A slave is a fellow human being that is purchased as property, deprived of their freedom and rights, and forced to work against their will. An au pair is typically a younger individual, usually between 18 and 26, who comes from a foreign country to live with a host family and provide childcare, often in exchange for room, board, and a small stipend. Nannies, on the other hand, are professional child care providers who can be of any age and paid a wage for their services. Think about it. Bye.